Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Social Sunday and our fan Q&A. Uh, Today we've got a sharpshooter in the box, Wesley Thomas. Um, with this one, I'm really happy to have Wesley on board because I think his story is so inspirational and loads of people will relate to this story. And I just really can't wait to get stuck into Wesley's story. Wesley, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a long time, man. It's been a long
Right.
time, man.
Very long time.
Yeah. Wes, obviously, I'm gonna say happy birthday because obviously it's your birthday next week, right?
Thank you. I
Yeah,
know.
you didn't know I knew about
Yeah,
that, did you?
I did.
Exactly.
I didn't know you would remember.
All right,
You
I'll
know
do my
what?
reason.
I'm one of the people that I've gone past that stage of actually caring about my birthday. So I like to keep it secret. So I'd rather not people bring it up, man, because
Yeah.
we're getting old, boy. So that
Nah,
we're in
it's
our
good.
20s no more, man.
Nah, it's good, man. Just wish you a happy birthday and stuff. But
Cheers.
Wesley, if I'm not mistaken, raised in Barking.
Raised in Barking, yeah. I was actually born in Brent in northwest London. Um, but yeah, I was born in Barking. Sorry, I grew up in Barking. And yeah, I mean, one of seven children. Um, and life was, at the time it was good, but when you look back on things were quite tough for us growing up in Barking and Dagenham especially. So. Um, but yeah, I mean, my childhood, I enjoyed it. To be fair, I only have really only fun memories of my childhood. So
I mean, do you know what? In East London, obviously, I grew up in East London as well. I know how challenging it was at that time, but
yeah,
Barking in particular was really
Barking and Dagenham, it
was
was
really really challenging. Could you talk us through a few challenges that you come across?
yeah. So when living in Barking and Dagenham, the area we lived in first was predominantly a white area. It was a white estate, um, and you know, being there, it was there was a lot of people that were okay with black people, but there was that group of people that didn't like black people, and there were so many times. I remember one time I went to the shop on our estate and I was walking back and I got followed all the way home, you know, being called the N-word all the way home. And I was only 10, 11, these and the boys who were following me home, they were like 16, just so and I remember walking home and coming back from the shop and going straight up into my room and just crying. There'd be times where we would come back from, say, school or from the shops, and there'd be the N word, get out of the estate. So yeah, man, it was tough. Like there was a lot of racism on the estate, but at the time, because I was so young, I didn't really understand it too much. So I think probably not even just understanding it, it probably even helped me through that period. I think if I had more of an understanding of that situation, it probably would have affected me more. But probably not really understand, the whole thing about the racism and whatnot during that period. I probably didn't pay too much attention to it, and just got on with it, really.
You said that you've got a huge family. Are you? What's your siblings? Are you the youngest? Which order
So
are you?
I'm third in my family. So I've got two older brothers, and then I've got three sisters after that, and then I've got a younger brother.
How is that in the sort of like in the big family? Because you get a lot of people who have a small family and they find it challenging, but it's also sometimes the same way, the other way. So how is it for you?
It was carnage in the household. You could imagine, like, there was, eight of us in one household. Obviously my dad wasn't living with us, but there was eight of us all in one household, and we only had like a 3-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom council house. And I used to share my brother one of the bedrooms with my brothers, and then my sisters had a room. And then my younger brother, when we were staying, he was very young, so he used to sleep in my mum's room. and it was carnage, bro. It was, you know, and I think a lot of time until I even, you know, until I left home, I just didn't want to be around them because you're with them so much. You just want to just be away from them all the time. But I remember when I eventually moved out, you actually miss that being around them all the time. So I think I think our relationships as well when we were kids, you know, it was a bit, you know, bit tough. Like we didn't really get on that well, but our relationship started to grow a little bit more once you know I moved out. You know, you want to know more about your siblings. So yeah.
Yeah. So how was you, like your personality as a youngster? Like, if you analyze yourself.
I mean, I thought I was alright, but I think if you asked them what I was like when I was younger, they'll probably say that I was the bully in the house. You know, I always wanted things my own way. But you can imagine in such a small household, you know, we probably had like the TV, and we have only like one TV in the front room, and everyone wants to watch their own thing,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's almost just everyone fighting to watch their own program.
Yeah.
So it was carnage, man. It was carnage.
Literally, because obviously, like, when I was like younger, I used to sort of like play in the streets. What's your earliest memory of playing football in the streets?
I think my earliest was, I think I really got into football because I just wanted to fit in with the people that I was around. I wouldn't say I was proper into football early on. You know, I used to try other things. So my mum used to put us into karate. You know, one of the sports I actually really liked was snooker. I used to love watching snooker, which is weird, like, but we never had cable, so I remember on BBC Two, snooker used to be on. So I used to just sit there and watch it.
Yeah, for the whole day. And that.
I used to just sit there and just watch snooker for hours. So you know, I got into football because a lot of my friends were into football, and you know, you want to fit in with your friends, so you know, you just go to the park or you go to the cage on the estate and you go and play football.
Yeah, what was your last picked?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't great. I
Yeah.
wasn't great in the beginning, but you know, at that time I didn't really care. I just wanted to play football. I just wanted to be around my mates. So
Yeah.
that
That's
was
what people nowadays don't understand the importance of social inclusion. You know, like kids need it nowadays. You know, school wise, like let's talk about sort of like let's talk about secondary school, year 7. You're going into secondary school. Are you what how was that like for you?
It was. Do you know what? It was okay because it was almost like starting fresh. So I probably didn't really enjoy my junior years. I wouldn't say I was bullied, but I was, you know, I wasn't included in a lot of things that my mates and people done in school. So going into senior school now, it was almost fresh because the kids went on to a different school, and I went to a new school where there wasn't many. I think there was probably 1 or 2 that joined that school, and the way our year was, the way the year was that half the year was on one side and the other year was on another side. So the kids that even joined from my old school weren't on my side. So everything was new. So it was almost like, right, I could start again. I could start from here sort of thing, and, you know, build new relationships and, you know, try to almost get that sort of reputation in school early doors.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I actually enjoyed senior school. You know, there was nothing I can really say that I didn't really enjoy about it, to be honest.
Did you sort of like did you try out for the school team or anything like that?
Yeah, no, I played for the school team, but our school team weren't great, man. Like I went to Eastbury.
Oh
Eastbury
my
Comprehensive.
gosh! Yeah.
And we weren't.
Yeah.
The thing is, we weren't known for football. That was the
Ooh.
problem. Like our year was not known for football, and even like the years above, they didn't really play football either, man. And the worst thing about it is that we was very near Barking Abbey, and Barking Abbey was the sports school.
Yeah.
All the best people in the borough went to Barking Abbey. Like if they were good at any sport, they were going to Barking Abbey. So whenever we used to play Barking Abbey, we used to just get absolutely battered. It's terrible. But
So at that stage, I know at that stage you wanted to be included, like with your mates. That's why you took up football. But you went into secondary school still playing football. How was your mindset regarding football at that time?
Again, just to have fun. Like again, I don't think I really took it seriously until probably about year 9, maybe year 10, I would say. That I thought, okay, I could probably try and make something of this. You know, I'm actually really enjoying it, and I can probably see if I can, you know, take it to the next level. Probably try and get into an academy or something like that. But the thing is that our school, because we weren't in a sports school, there wasn't anyone looking to really go and break in and go into academy. Like we didn't have no one in us. I didn't know anyone that was in an academy. And it was only until I probably get into year 10 and I started, you know, in my Sunday league team playing with people that were going to Barking Abbey, that I thought, okay, if I can play with these boys and a lot of these boys are probably at academies and whatnot, then, you know, I could probably have a good go and see if I can get myself into an academy. But unfortunately, that never really happened, you know. And I think I played with you at Essex, didn't I? But Essex was you know, I never played for districts. I was never picked to even go on trials for a district team. And I don't really remember why I got. I think actually no. I remember my Sunday league manager at the time put me through to the Essex trials, and yeah, I got picked from that. And I think that's really when I started taking it really seriously after I got picked for Essex.
Yeah, because I think the way district basically is graded by like schools. So basically, Barking Abbey will get majority of the people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, and so on. So that's probably one of the reasons. It's bad, but that's probably one of the reasons. Obviously, in that time period, were there any challenges like you know your environment, your area? Were there any challenges affecting your football?
In what way?
So, say for instance, I don't know. So, like, obviously, I know Barking was sort of like there's loads of gangs in there, and say like family issues and stuff like that. Was anything affecting your football in any way or anything like that?
No, I wouldn't say so. Again, I just played it just to play football and just to try and fit in. Yeah, there was by that time as well. I think by year 9 I had moved, so I'd moved out of the estate that we was living at, and we moved more into Barking near Eastbury School. So I wasn't around that environment where we was being racially abused anymore. So that had changed. Yeah, no, I can't really think of any other time or anything that really affected my football. But again, I wasn't really that serious about it. I just wanted to just play football, have fun with the mates, and that was it really. I wasn't really thinking, yeah, this is something I'd take seriously, because I wasn't at no academy. No one at my school was playing at any academy, so it was just to have fun with it really.
You've mentioned how around year 9, year 10, when you started taking football seriously, obviously because your Sunday league coach took you to Essex County to play for. Why was that such a big change for you to have a real interest in football?
Do you know what? Because I went to Essex. Not even. I just wanted to give it a go. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't expecting to get in. I wasn't actually expecting to get a phone call. And I remember, I think we played 2 games, and I done really well, and I scored in both games and done really well. And I remember because we got a bus there, me, Junior, and a few other boys. We got the bus there, and I remember getting that call, and I was the first on that bus on the way back. We were all thinking, I wonder who's going to get a call. And I remember getting that call, picking it up, and saying, "Yeah, we want you to come back and be a part of it." And I remember I think it was almost this. I want to say jealousy, but no, you know when everyone's thinking, "What? Where's got in?" Like, I must be getting the call. But I think that gave me that confidence as well. Almost like I can probably, do something with this, because I think that was the first time that I was probably anyone put really any real faith in me within my football sort of thing.
Yeah, because I remember that Essex team was really, because I never saw you in, because obviously I know Junior.
Yeah.
I never saw you in none of the districts. Never played. You were just like new.
Yeah.
And then you were just like scoring, and we were just thinking, who is this guy sort of a thing? Do you know what I mean? Because
I think everyone had a reputation. Everyone knew who everyone was, but no one really knew me, sort of thing. Because I was in Bath, I wasn't really in East London in terms of like East Ham or Canning Town. I wasn't really there, so no one really knew who I really was as a person. So when I got in, it was like, well, who's this guy? And I didn't have that sort of reputation. Oh yeah, he's that player and he's that player, or he's been at that academy. So I didn't have that reputation like everyone else, and I was almost sort of like the outsider of everyone that was at Essex. I was the outsider, so. But for me, it was fine. Like I just looked at it like I've got an opportunity here, because I'm looking at it, even though everyone's looking from our little bubble being in Essex, I was looking at it as well as I'm one of the first people to be picked from my school. Do you see what I mean? So. Yeah, I might not be the big boy there, but people looking at me like, right, where's he playing for Essex now? So, yeah, man, that gave me that confidence, and I just thought, okay, let me see how far I can take this sort of thing.
So with that mindset, let's see how far you're gonna take it. What you like, year 11, about to finish school.
About to
finish school, year 11. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. About to finish school. Yeah.
So. Are you thinking of college at this time? Thinking of going into academy? What's your mindset?
So there was no opportunity for me to go to any academy, but I went to the. I applied for the Barking Academy, Barking Abbey Academy sort of thing. So you're doing your education while playing football at the same time, and I applied for that, and I remember. I was one of the last players to actually get a call for that, and I eventually got in. And we got sort of ratings. I don't know why we got a rating, but it was sort of like we had a rating of gold, silver, and like bronze players. I don't know what, it was weird, mate. So you had the gold players, so it was like, yeah, there were definite players who was definitely coming in, and you had the silver players, and you had the bronze, and I was probably the last player to get a slot. I think it was like 20 of us. Something like that, and I got like the last slot. Everyone else got it like a week before that I actually got it, and I was put down as a bronze player. But for me at that time, it was sort of like an opportunity, and it was like another opportunity for me to go out and prove what I can really do. So, I was just buzzing that I was even selected at that time. Especially as well, I mean, I wasn't at no academy anyway, so this was like the next best thing, sort of thing, to carry on playing football.
Yeah, do you know what? Was that boy there? Was it Billy Shaw? That blonde head kid.
Billy Shaw?
Yeah, he played in Essex. He played in the Essex team as well. I think he was centre midfielder. He was like the golden boy, that boy.
Billy Shaw. I know that name, but.
Yeah, he went Barking Abbey school. He was in that Essex team. Yeah, the coaches loved him. Absolutely loved him.
If I know that name, so if you're saying he was the love child, then probably.
I wonder what happened to that guy
Did,
because I
did
was
he,
just
was he at the academy or anything?
no.
No, he was just at
Yeah, he was just playing Essex because
Okay.
he like for Barking Abbey, they just used to love him. They
Billy
used to-
Shaw. I know that name. What position? Midfield.
I think yeah, he used to play centre mid. I think really tall, blonde haired kid, proper.
You know what? I
Yeah,
don't remember him.
uh, it used to wind me up, man, because they absolutely used to love this kid.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
For
but
me, I don't remember Billy Shaw. I don't know why, but I don't remember him.
what was I gonna say? Yeah, so you're playing in an academy.
Well,
Was
second.
you
It wasn't
second?
really an academy, but
What?
it was second best things to an academy.
Either thing, you're playing in some sort of level,
Yeah.
some sort of level academy. So talk me to that time period, yeah, where you was playing in there and you had your first opportunity in a trial at a club.
Okay, so when I first went to, I was like one of the bronze players, so I wasn't really expected to be one of the players that really excelled in that program that they put on. But I was playing in games and I was just scoring goals, and I think that sort of made the manager or Dave Mill at the time, pay more attention to me because I was just scoring goals. Every time I played, I was scoring goals. And I remember one time there was a game and there was someone from Cambridge that came to one of the games, and he was like, he wanted to have a look at me, he wanted to take me down to trial with Cambridge. And I think that really, the manager started to pay more attention to me sort of thing, and, give me more opportunities in games. And I went on trial to Cambridge for a week. They said they liked me, but they can't offer me nothing, so they want me to keep coming. They wanted me to come back and play in a few other games. And I think I went down there 2 more times. So, I mean, over the next 3 months, I went down there another 2 times, and I would stay down in digs, and then train for like a week, play the game, and then come back. So that was my first real opportunity of going to an actual pro club as well. And I didn't really enjoy that environment, being out of London, being away from everyone. And I probably didn't make the most of that opportunity that I had, because I just didn't like the environment, just being away from everyone I knew and being chucked into it. I don't know no one. And, you probably know what it's like when you go to a new team. It's like some people just won't speak to you sort of thing. And they don't want to have any conversation with you or nothing like that. And none of the boys really made any attempt to make me feel welcome there. So I did not enjoy that opportunity, and I just couldn't wait to come back to London. So that opportunity went, and then I think I was playing in a few Sunday league games. So we used to play I used to play for alongside the Barking Abbey thing. We used to be the reserve team for Waltham Forest, and I was playing in a few games there, and there was a guy that said, "Look, I like you. I think you're a good player. I want to try and get you down to QPR." And I said, "Okay, let's sort of make it happen." And then I think like a week later, I had Joe Gallen on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, we're going to try and bring you down for a trial, see how you do." And obviously you was there. You were there. And then I remember coming down there, played in a few games, and they said, "Look, we're not going to offer you a full contract, a full scholarship, but we're going to put you on the non-contract sort of terms, which is basically, you're there, but you're not actually getting paid to be a part of the academy that they have there." So, but for me, I was like, yo, this is next thing, because I've never been at any pro club. You know, I had trials and whatnot, but at Cambridge, but I'd never been selected to actually go and be at a pro club. So that was like the best moment of my life. Like, I couldn't wait to just go and tell everyone that, yeah, I'm at QPR and I'm going to be playing there and whatnot. So yeah, that was a good moment for me.
So, because you know what, yeah, when I saw you there, I was like, I was shocked because obviously there's a time period that I saw you in like sort of Essex, and I was like, well, where's? I remember it was banter, it was jokes,
And the thing is as well, I didn't come there in the beginning of like pre-season or so or whatever. I came after pre-season. I think I came, you know, probably like October time or about October time I came. I didn't come in the beginning. So
you came second year in it. You came second year.
I came in the second year, but I didn't come in the beginning like of pre-season. So it wasn't like I was going into pre-season and trialing out. I was coming, the season already started. So
yeah, you was unlucky because when you came on the second year, yeah, that's when they push everyone like in the reserves already touching the first team. Yeah, so if you would have had obviously like the first year, then it would have been easier. But the second year is like that's how they do it in QPR, because in that year they had like people like Shabazz.
Yeah, I remember
Out Friday as well. Yeah, man, it's proper uphill.
And again, Shabazz. I mean, when I turned up, and Shabazz was he was a year below us, and I was having to compete with him, who's just come from Arsenal, and it was almost, you know, it was tough. I mean, I never really played much when I was there. I was mainly coming off the bench for the youth team. So, and then there was Shabazz, who was actually playing. He was a year younger than me, scoring goals, and then being taken for like. I mean, there was a few times he went with the first team. Yeah. So, I mean, it was really tough. But I mean, that experience of just being around that sort of environment, I just appreciate that environment that I was in. You know, playing with players like yourself, Shabazz, and being around that group. It was that next step for me, and experiencing that level.
Yeah, no, because I remember Joe kept saying, because Joe liked you.
Yeah.
Joe liked you, yeah, and Joe just kept saying that that's why he kept putting you in there. But the time that you came, it was just everything was just like set in stones. Everyone knew that they're gonna be a part of whatever they've been told already. They're gonna be involved with the first team. They're gonna get this, get that. That was in that second year. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was a proper uphill battle, and that. But talk us through, obviously, like your time at that QP, because obviously we were the crazy bunch. So your time at QPR, the good and bad sort of like events that happened at QPR. Like, talk us through all that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy bunch. I remember. Do you remember if you was ever late, everyone would be sitting on the benches, and you have the other side of the change rooms. You have to try and get to the change room and touch it. But before you got there, everyone just slapping you.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I was late a couple of times, and you just hope that no one's actually waiting in that change room. But everyone knew that you was late, so everyone would just be waiting at their seat, just waiting until you turned up. And I remember just seeing everyone just there. You just dart straight to you try and dart straight to the wall and try and just getting clapped here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, man, it was a crazy group. Even like with Shabazz and that, you know, he was a crazy guy, man. But again, just being around that environment, and it wasn't like anyone really got left out. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like there was anyone within that group that wasn't part of, you know, the team sort of thing. So yeah, man, I just love that environment. You know, it was a completely different environment to when I was at Cambridge, sort of thing.
Can you say regarding that, did that improve your football ability?
Well, yeah, I would have improved. Number one, being around the level of players that I was around. But but yeah, just being part of that group and, you know, not being looked at as an outcast, even though I wasn't even on, you know, an actual scholarship like the other boys, you were still treated like just like everyone else. So, yeah, I think it would have helped me in improving, you know, in my game as well.
So, what happened at QPR and what happened afterwards? How did you feel?
So, I remember, I think around January time, a lot of the boys got told that they weren't going to be kept on after their scholarship. And I think at that time you went to Man City on trial, didn't you? You went to
yeah. That's after
so I'm thinking, well, he's gone to Man City, he's going on to better things. And I never got told anything. And I remember speaking to him and said, look, I spoke to Joe and he said, look, they haven't really made a decision on you yet. So I was thinking, but they've told other players that they're not going to be here next year, but they've not told me. And this is my year group. Obviously, we was mixed with a few of the other boys in the lower, and they hadn't been told yet. So, but the boys in our year, they've all been told, and I haven't been told. So, in my head, I'm thinking there's still a chance here. I might get something. And I remember on the last day, I got told, look, you've got a meeting with Ian Holloway. And I remember this was in the off season, so I had to get a train from Barking all the way to, what was that train station we used to go to?
Hillington.
I can't even remember, but it was like a 2-hour journey for me from Barking to Figgy. And I remember sitting down there, and he was like, "Have you enjoyed it?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm thinking, yeah. He's gonna say, "You enjoyed it? You're gonna get another deal." But he was just like, "Unfortunately, we're not gonna keep you on. But we're gonna try and keep in contact and try and help you find another club." And just hearing them words, "We're not gonna keep you on," was just like heartbreaking. And I remember leaving the office and then getting back on that train, just feeling my body was just numb. All the way home, my body was numb. And then I got home and I remember just going into my room, just crying my eyes out. Like, I cried my eyes out, just thinking, my career's done. Like, I'm gonna have to try and find something else to do. And it probably took it.
How's your family support at that time?
Do you know what? I never told him at the time. Didn't tell no one. I didn't even tell them that I was going to find out whether I was going to get taken on. I just did not tell them. So got home, just went into my room, just cried my eyes out. Like, it was heartbreaking, but it probably took about 2 weeks to get over it. And you know, I had a few conversations with a few of my friends. They said, look, you know, just because this opportunity is gone, don't mean there's never going to be another opportunity. And I thought, okay, yeah, maybe they're right. Plus, Ian Holloway promised me he's going to give me a little call and he's going to put in a few favours, which he never did, by the way.
But do you know on that year? Sorry to cut you off here. On that year, literally, the fact that Ian Holloway wanted to talk to you, that is massive. Do you know that?
I know. Because obviously I was thinking that the conversation would be with Joe Gallen, but the fact that Ian Holloway took that conversation with me, you know, you could probably think, oh, he's going to offer me an actual deal. That's what I was thinking when going there. But, you know, it just wasn't meant to be at that time. And, you know, it's just one of the things.
Because I just think, because obviously, like I said to you, because you came on a second year, right? And obviously, like, Shabazz was there and stuff like that, yeah? And for the 2 years, they can't have too many, like, players coming through and all that, because it's got a balance with the first team and stuff like that. So, and we had a lot of players, like, for a youth team, a lot of players came through that year. But in our year group, the reason why I said the fact that Ian Holloway spoke to you was big, because the rest of our year were in that change room in was was at Twyford, yeah. In that change room, they were all coming in one by one. I knew because I spoke to Ian Holloway on the phone, and he said I'm getting a pro. I sat in that change room, and they all come in one by one, saying I haven't got it, with a chat from Joe.
Yeah.
And then they're all vexed.
Yeah.
So for you to speak to Ian Holloway, yeah, I'm telling you now, yeah, he must have thought, because there's no need for him to do it.
Yeah.
He must have thought. He must have thought something like of you at that time, man. So yeah. So after, I just thought I had to say that, man, because that is big. But after QPR, what's your thought process now? What's the next move?
So yeah, the next move is what do you do now, sort of thing. Do you carry on with football? Do you try to find something else that you want to do? And I remember my mum actually asked me like, what's going on with QPR during that time as well. And I told her, look, that they're not keeping me on, sort of thing. And she was like, okay, so what are you going to do, sort of thing? And I was like, well, I still want to play football. I still want to be playing football. And she was like, okay, well, is there any other clubs? I was like, well, I don't know yet. You know, I want to see if I can try and find another club. She was like, well, if you ain't at a club, you can't just be, you know, sitting around just trying to play football. You're gonna have to go back to college, you know, because if football doesn't work out, you need something to fall back on. So I went to I had to apply for Hackney Community College. I'd done a media course, just to please my mum, really. And on the side of it, I was trialing for other clubs, and Dave Moore, who I had at the Barking Abbey Academy, gave me a call and asked me, look, what are you doing? And I just told him, look, QPR ain't going to keep me on, so I'm looking for another club. And he was like, look, come down to Waltham Forest. We'll, you know, Hakan wants to have you down there. So come down to Waltham Forest and speak to Hakan. And I think I trained once, and Hakan was like, okay, we want to sign you for the first team. So I ended up for a year signing with Waltham Forest. I signed a 2-year deal with Waltham Forest, and playing there for a season, scoring. I think I finished top goal scorer for Waltham Forest. I think I scored like 17 goals for them, and then after that, Hakan got the move to Thurrock.
Yeah.
And he took me along with him to Thurrock.
Did you play with my brother at that time?
I did play with your brother at Waltham Forest. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I thought so. Because Hakan loved that guy, man. Hakan loved that guy, man. So you went to Waltham Thurrock, yeah, and scoring goals galore. Get the move to Moneybank Fisher Athletic.
Yeah, I mean, I scored goals at Waltham Forest, which got me to move to Thurrock, and then I was scoring goals at Thurrock, and then obviously that was almost giving me interest in and around like the non-league, in and around non-league. So Fisher came along, and Fisher was like, we want to sign you, sort of thing. And the money that Fisher was offering like players in the non-league,
yeah, I remember that.
I mean, people were on £1,500 a week. I'm like, yo, get me down there now. So they had to pay for me to go down to Fisher, and I signed for Fisher I think I signed a 2-year deal down there. And yeah, I mean Fisher, again, the group of boys down at Fisher was different class. Like it was a really good group of players. But I think there was a lot of pressure because everyone was on for that level. That everyone was on decent money for that level. And the positions, I think we had 4 strikers, but everyone came with a bit of a reputation in and around the non-league sort of platform sort of thing. So I had to basically, knuckle down and state my claim for my position sort of thing, because, not every striker can play. So But I really enjoyed to be fair, I really enjoyed my year down at Fisher. And we were one of the favourites to get promoted, and we didn't actually get promoted. I think we got knocked out in the playoffs. But you know, it was a really good time, and I think that was my first time of really getting used to. I mean, when I was at Thurrock and Waltham Forest, we was probably training twice a week, but at Fisher, we were training we was training in the morning on the Mondays. We would train in the evenings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we'll train again in the morning on a Friday. So we was pretty much doing, full time. So I enjoyed it, man.
Well, you felt training more helped your development, right?
I think it helped, and I think it made me feel more of like a professional player than just being like a non-knee player. Or a semi-pro player, because we was training every single day sort of thing. So I enjoyed my time there.
So playing in Fisher, how did the move come across with Barking and Dagenham Redbridge? Sorry.
So I remember at the end of the season, or near the end of the season, I had a few interests from a few clubs. I had a interest from Brentford, and they took me down on trial to play in a reserve game, which I played in. And after the game, the manager said, "Look, I like you. You know, what's it? Do you know what it's going to take to get you out of your contract?" And I remember saying to him, "I'm not too sure, but I've got but my buyout clause is 50 grand." And he's like, 50 grand? No chance. So that almost just disappeared. And then there was Colchester, who wanted to take me as well. But I think one of the scouts or one of the people from Colchester got in contact with the club, and they said, "Look, he's not, unless you just buy him, he's not coming down on trial. He's not playing in on trial. If you want him, you have to buy him." And they were like, "No, we're not just going to buy him without even looking at him." So that went away. And then Fisher got into a bit of problem. So the owner got into a few financial problems, and he wasn't able to pay. He wasn't able to pay any of the players, and because I wasn't getting paid, I had to travel in and whatnot. It was almost like, I'm not coming if I'm not getting paid. I'm not coming to play for free. You've turned down the option for me to go and train with Colchester and probably get some sort of compensation for me. You wasn't even willing to speak to Brentford about even negotiating something, like whether we could do something. I'm not coming back until I'm either getting paid or you can tear up my contract sort of thing, and I try and find another club. And listen, at that time I knew there'd be clubs who were interested, because I was scoring. I think I scored 19, 20 goals for Fisher anyway that season. So I knew there'd be some sort of interest. And then I got a call from John Steele at Dagenham Redbridge, and he was like, I've spoken to the people down at Fisher. They said you can come down and do a bit of training while they're sorting out the financial situation down there. But to keep you fit, you can come down and train with us for a week. So I was like, okay, League Two now. It's another opportunity. It's another step for me to go and show what I can do. I think I trained for the week, played in like a reserve game. And then he sat me down and he said, "Look, I like you as a player. I want to bring you in. You've got qualities that I like. We've spoken to Fisher. They're going to allow you to come. We're going to pay him like a nominal fee. They're going to let you come, but we can't pay you what Fisher was paying. So you're going to be on less money, but you're going to have an opportunity to come here, do well. And if you do well, you can go on to better things, and we won't stand in your way if you do that." And I was just thinking, well, this is the next level. this is actually going to a pro club now. You can actually say that I was a professional player, and you ain't just, at some semi-pro club. So for me, it was like, okay, I'll take the pay cut. I'm happy to take the pay cut and prove that I can actually do it in the league, sort of thing. So I accepted the terms, took the pay cut, and then I was at Dagenham Redbridge, 2-year deal at Dagenham Redbridge. No, sorry, 3-year deal. They offered me a 3-year deal at Dagenham Redbridge. Sorry.
Obviously, I went there for a bit, like to train. Dagenham Redbridge. Yeah, I think I saw you there. I swear. No, I think that was after.
Who was Shabazz there with you when you went there?
No, I think it was there. Who was there? John Doe.
Yeah, you must have been the year after I left. And
yeah, John Doe. I must have went there for like a pit stop because because it's like close to home, and I wanted to go and train. But this John Still, I want to know about John Still because like with me, I think he's a bit like I don't know. I don't quite understand him yet because I went there, and then he must have said the maddest thing to me. Yeah, because obviously because my playing style is different, innit? Yeah, because he must have said to me, he saw the way I play in that, and he said, "Man, you can't play here, man. You're too good to play here, and the way you play, yeah, you put other players under pressure because when you make other players play football."
Yeah, they don't want to play.
And Dagenham Redbridge, them days, yeah, there's no football, channel balls and stuff like that, yeah. He said that to me, and I was like, wow, the manager said that to me, yeah, that is amazing. How is he like as a manager?
Well, you're lucky that he even told you that you don't play the way that you play because he told me he liked me as a player. I had certain attributes that he liked, but I never knew that them attributes was just running into the channels and chasing balls. I thought it was going to be, you've got attributes to how to score a goal. I found it difficult. I found it really difficult. And you know the style of football. It was get into the fullbacks and smash that ball as hard as you can into that channel and get the strikers chasing it. And, even though I was playing in the non-league, I wasn't playing like that. I was playing from like one side of the box to the other side of the box. I wasn't going outside of them areas. I was in and around the goal, just getting on the end of things. But under John Steele, I was just chasing balls into the channel, chasing. And it was completely different to how I'm used to playing. And I found it really difficult to play underneath him. It was a struggle for me. And that's why I think I never really progressed underneath him. I was probably coming off here and there off the bench for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, it was mad. It must have been a record because the amount of bench appearances that you had was mad.
Yeah. It was. I don't know how many I made from, but I didn't really get any real spell in the team. And there was even times he'll bring me on as a right midfielder. Later on in the second season, started playing me as a right midfielder, and then he brought in He brought in another striker. So he brought in another striker and sort of almost shifted me as a right midfielder. And I was thinking, what is going on here? Like, I'm not a right winger.
Do you reckon that's like do you know when, because obviously your attribute, you had speed. Do you reckon that's a factor?
What's that?
Because your attribute, your main attribute was speed. Apart from scoring goals, it was speed. It was really fast. Do you reckon that's a factor in that?
In turn, put me as a winger.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. He probably thought, he's not really getting the idea of just chasing balls into the channel. And for me, I wanted to just be in and around the box. I wanted to score goals. So he thought, let me put him out wide. Let him see if he can get on the ball and run at people, take people on, or knock it past someone and run with it. But I wasn't even that type of player, because I'm so used to just, anticipating things that are going to fall in and around the box and using my my sharpness to get on the end of things, that even putting me out wide didn't really work. And I started getting frustrated near the end as well, because I felt that I was getting pushed out. I felt like it was pushing me out without really having that conversation with me and telling me, look, it's not really working out. And I remember we got promoted to League One, and he had a conversation with me at the end of the season. He said, look, we're not going to keep you on, sort of thing. And I was like, so, I mean, for me, that was the first time where I felt I've not been given an opportunity to really show what I can do. And I was just getting, kicked out almost, you can go. So for me, that was the first eye opener. And that was the first time I thought, okay, the most important thing is to make sure you're playing and you're scoring goals. Because if you're not playing and you're not scoring goals, and you get released at the end of the season, what's going to happen? People are going to look at you and say, well, last year you didn't play no games. You didn't play this amount of games. You didn't do that. You didn't do this. Where for me, if I went somewhere and I was playing, or I was at a club and they weren't playing me, but I went out on loan and I was scoring goals, at least I can say, well, I wasn't playing there, but I went here and I was scoring goals and I was doing this sort of thing. So I thought, you know what? I'm never going to be in that situation where if I ever come to the end of my contract, I can't say, well, I was here and I scored this amount of goals. And that, I think that was the first time my mentality changed, and it was all about being on that pitch and just scoring goals. If you do that, don't matter what happens, everyone wants a goal scorer. No matter what happens, everyone wants someone who can put that ball in that back of the net. So make sure wherever you go, you're playing and you're scoring goals. And that was my mindset from then going forward. Luckily for me, one of the boys at Fisher, he got a move to Cheltenham, and he put my name. The gaffer at the time, Mark Yates, he was looking for another striker, and he told him, look, I know Wes. Would you take Wes? And he was like, okay, let me give him a call. And he was like, look, would you come down to Cheltenham? And at that time, obviously, because I wasn't playing, no one, I wasn't getting no calls. No one was looking at me. No one wanted to touch me. So I was like, yeah, definitely, I'll come. They said, okay, we'll give you a year. I said, fine. I didn't really care what it was. I just wanted to make sure that I was going to get another opportunity. And I felt like that was going to be the next time, this next opportunity that I get, I ain't going to let it go.
You know what? You didn't let it go, because 41 appearances and 18 goals.
Yeah.
That's basically what you just said. You've changed your mindset.
Yeah.
And you're scoring goals and stuff like that. So throughout your time in Cheltenham, obviously you're having a good time. Are you thinking to sort of settle, or are you straight away thinking, when's my next move?
Well, when I first went to Cheltenham, it was just about show that you can score goals. Just make sure whatever you do, just get goals, because you've got a year, so you don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season. So make sure whatever happens, you're playing and you're getting goals. And if it don't work out there, you can go somewhere else and say, well, I was at Cheltenham in League Two and I scored this amount of goals and I was playing this amount of games. But from the first minute onwards, I just hit the ground running. I was scoring. I was getting goals, and I was getting calls from people that were at Dagenham thinking, "Right, Wes, you're scoring. What's going on here? You're actually scoring these goals." And I was like, I'm playing a different way. I'm playing the way that I'm used to playing. I'm not chasing balls into channels. I'm playing like a striker, and I'm playing, and getting in the box, and I'm putting the ball in the back of the net. And yeah, from that, I think it was only until, it was the moment from probably about December, January, I was getting a lot of calls from agents and saying, what's happening with you? What's your situation, sort of thing? I've got this club that are looking at you. I've got that club that are looking at you. You know, would you be willing to come and you know, sign with us? So it was at that moment in time that I thought, okay, there's a chance for me to go on to the next level now, you know, and probably even go into League One and get an opportunity to go to, you know, the level above and score goals there. So I think it was around December time, January time, that I thought I can kick on here and probably get another move.
Well, you did get another move. Like, you went to Bournemouth, which
Well, before that, I actually signed for Crawley Town. So I at the end of the season, I was out of contract and I was 24. So, you know, I was of Bosman silent. So I spoke to a few clubs, spoke to Wickham in League One. I went to somewhere else as well. I can't even remember. But I went to Crawley as well. And Crawley was like, we want him. You know, we're League Two, but we're not looking to stay in this league. We're looking to get out of this league straight away and go into League One, and we're looking to do this, we're looking to do that. And Crawley was that team where, you know, there's a bit of money behind them. And I just thought to myself, if I can go here, there's a bit of money and I can have another good season in League Two, I'll automatically get an opportunity into, you know, progressing even further. So I went to sign for Crawley, but then Crawley went on gone and signed another striker. They already had Matt Tubbs there, but they went on and signed other strikers, and I automatically found myself out of the team. You know, the manager just preferred Matt Tubbs. I can't even remember the other striker's name actually, but he preferred that partnership than having me in the team. And I found it quite frustrating because Matt Tubbs was coming up a level. So yeah, he scored a ridiculous amount of goals in the conference, but he hadn't done it in League Two. And then there was the other striker who was, I think he was at Macclesfield, but he scored less goals than me last season in the previous season. So I was thinking, you know, I outscored him. Why am I not in the team, sort of thing? I had a few conversations with Steve Evans. He was like, you just need to be patient. You're going to get your opportunity. Everyone's going to be needed. In fact, John Akindi was there as well. So there was four of them. I can't remember the other one, but it was me, Tubbsy, John Akindi, and there was another guy. And John Akindi, I think he had just been released from Bristol City. So it was us four all competing for the two spots, and me and John Akindi wasn't in the team. So, you know, I spoke to Steve Evans, and he was saying, you're going to get your opportunity, everyone's going to be needed. And I remember playing in a reserve game against Bournemouth, and I played really well. I didn't score in that game, but I played really well. And I remember, you know, after the game, getting changed, going upstairs and, you know, having food after the game. And one of the boys went to me, I think they want to sign you, you know. And I was like, shut up, man. What are you talking about? I'm not even playing in League Two. How am I going to get moved to League One? You're talking nonsense. And like, I'm being deadly serious. The gaffer's in there now speaking to Steve Evans. And I think 5 minutes later, they get Lee Bradbury, who was the manager at Bournemouth at the time. He walked out, and then he's gone off with the Bournemouth team. And everyone was like, where's he going to get a move? Where's he going to get a move? I was like, how? I've just played in the league. It's not like I played in a league game against Bournemouth. I'm playing in a reserve game. And then I think the next day, I remember getting a call from Paul Rayner. You know Paul Rayner?
Yeah.
I remember getting a call from Paul Rayner. He says, where's the gaffer wants you to come up? He wants to speak to you. I was thinking, okay. I don't know what this is about. 2 minutes later, I get a call from my agent Bournemouth are interested in signing you. Would you go? I was like, 100% I'm going. Like, I'm not playing here. Why would I stay in a team that I'm not going to play?
Yeah.
So I remember just getting straight in my car, driving down to Crawley to speak to Steve Evans. And he was like, look, we've just had an offer from Bournemouth to take you on loan initially and then make it permanent. You know, what's your thoughts? And I was just playing it down. I was like, I don't know, like, you know, if I ain't gonna get an opportunity here, maybe it is best that I leave, sort of thing. But I was buzzing about it. I couldn't wait to get on the road and get straight down to Bournemouth. And I remember that night, I just gathered all my stuff, went down to Bournemouth, stayed in the hotel, and then the next day it was all finalised. And I was buzzing to be, you know, down at Bournemouth.
Well, at this time period, this is like the highest level you've played at. How was your experiences regarding? Obviously, you're playing with better players. Training's probably faster. How was you coping with that, or did you cope?
Do you know what I felt? I felt that it was easier. I think the way that I play, the better players that I play with, the easier my job becomes to score goals in that regards. So, you know, playing with them players, I just felt that everything just seemed easier. Everyone seemed to be on the same wavelength. Everyone knew what they had to do. And scoring goals it just seemed a lot easier at that time. So, you know, I went down there. By the weekend, I was straight in the team. Played in that game. I didn't score in that game, but, you know, played well in that game. And then on the Tuesday, you know, we played Leyton Orient away. Won the penalty, scored a goal and set up the third. And I remember getting a call from the assistant manager at the time. He was like, if you carry on doing what you're doing, you won't be here for long. If you do what you're doing, you won't be here for long. And you got to remember, this whole period from being at Dagenham from being released from Dagenham to Cheltenham to Crawley and now being at Bournemouth, that's within 18 months.
Yeah, I know.
So within 18 months, I've gone from being released at Dagenham in League, who've just been promoted to League One, to now finding myself 18 months later at League One, you know, doing well, and people are telling me I can go on and pro play higher. So, you know, at times it was almost like I couldn't believe what was really going on, sort of thing, you know. But I just rode with it, sort of thing. And I remember I think I went there from October. Did I go from October? I went there from about late September to the end of December on loan. And in that period, I scored 7 goals in about 12, 13 games. And I had interest from Doncaster in the Championship. That there was interest that Doncaster wanted to sign me and take me to the Championship. And I was thinking, I'm ready for the next level, almost, sort of thing. I was always for some reason I was always thinking, right, I'm gonna get to the next level now. How do I get to the Championship? Okay, this is what I need to do. Focus on just keep scoring goals. People pay attention. And at that period, I had a falling out. I was out with the boys at Bournemouth, and one of the boys was drunk in the club, and I must have tipped a bit of drink on the back of his neck, and just like for banter, sort of thing. Anyways, he went mental, and he's like, "Who's done that? Who's done that? If I find out who's done that, I'm gonna beat him up." Da, 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 da. He's running around the club trying to find out who it is. Anyways, I must have went to the toilet, come back, and he's come up to me. was that you? Was it you who done it? I was like, no, man, come away from me, go away. And he's pushed me in the club. I was like, what? I said, listen, put your hands on me again, there's going to be a problem. He's like, shut up. And he's pushed me again. Bang, punched him in the club. Next minute, everyone's going, no, stop it. I get dragged out the club one end, he gets dragged out the club the other end. We get outside now, and he's got this massive lump on his eye, bro. And I was like, you know, at the time, before I saw it, I was like, right, we're going to have it outside. But you know, when you see someone's face and you're like, what have I done? Sort of thing. Like, this is serious stuff. And he was like, I didn't speak to him that day. I remember, I think that was on the Saturday. On the Sunday, I get a message from him saying, where's I had to tell the gaffer? And I was like, what? What do you mean you had to tell the gaffer? You could have been like 4 minutes I fell down the stairs. Anyways, 5 minutes later, Wes being at 9 o'clock. I was like, oh my God. So anyways, I had to get in before the boys. The manager's got mental at me. Wes, what was you doing that fighting and doing it? Have you seen his eye? And you know when you feel that you're under pressure, I was like, but Gaffer, like, he pushed me, so I tried to push him back. Just push him back. Have you seen his bloody eye? I was like, you know what, Wes? Go on. I don't want to see your face. Go back to your house, but don't leave Bournemouth. I'll call you in when you need to come back in, sort of thing. I was like, bloody hell. What am I going to do? Like, I'm thinking, at this time now, I'm thinking they're going to probably fire me or sack me and my careers and it's go down the hill. Anyways, a few days have gone by. I'm just in my house. I'm not doing nothing now, by the way. I'm in my house. I'm thinking, do you know what? I might as well go back down to London. And my missus was like, listen, Wes, if don't get yourself in any more trouble, just stay here until you get the call. And what they did, they tried to be smart, innit? So rather than calling me, they dropped a letter they sent a letter to my house to say, right, you got to come in tomorrow at this time. So if I went back down to London, I would have never got that letter. I'd never be like, Wes, where are you? You're meant to be in Bournemouth, sort of thing. So luckily I did go back. The gaffer called me and he was like, Wes, you can't be going around punching people. It's unacceptable. We're going to fine you 2 weeks. And, you know, just get your head down and just crack on with sort of things. And at the time I felt hard done by, like, because it was almost like it was just me and like I was the only one involved in this whole situation. Like, that boy got away with it all. I know he didn't punch me or anything like that, but he was one who instigated it a little bit by pushing me in the club. And that's how I felt that the club was just taking it out all on me, sort of thing, that whole situation. And I was almost like, you know what? I don't want to be here no more, sort of thing. Like, it sounds a bit petty at the time, but I was like, you know what? I want to leave. Like, I don't care where I go. I don't want to be in this environment anymore. And I remember he eventually got the sack, and they brought in another manager that I didn't really get on with, and because I just didn't like his style of football. And you know, during that whole period, I stopped scoring goals. I wasn't speaking to no one because I just felt like that was the first time I felt isolated from everyone at the club. So I wasn't speaking to no one. I wasn't doing well on the pitch anymore. But my mindset was just, I don't really care no more. Like, get yourself out, go speak to your agent, try and get your agent to take you somewhere else. Like, there's got to be people that will probably take you. You know, it was only a month ago that Doncaster was looking at you in the Championship, so there's got to be someone that will take you. So we got to the end of the season, and we were starting, and I didn't hear nothing. My agent was saying, "No, look, no one's gonna take you, especially what Bournemouth want for you, sort of thing. So no one's gonna willing to pay the money that Bournemouth want." So I had to go back in pre-season, train, play in the games, and then when the season started, I found myself on the bench, and I was like, "What's going on here? Like, if I can't get out, I'm at least want to be playing, sort of thing." But I wasn't playing. The manager at the time was his excuse was everyone's going to be needed within the season, so don't worry, you're going to get your opportunity. But you know, because of what happened with me when I was at Dagenham, where I didn't play, I was like, I don't want to come by the end of the season, I've not played and I haven't scored goals. That's the most important thing for me. If I ain't playing, I can't score goals. If I'm not scoring goals, no one's going to look at you. So I was knocking on the gaffer's door every single day. Gaffer, if I'm not going to play here, let me go out alone. Let me get some game time, at least, and then come back with some games underneath my belt. And he was like, "No, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere." Every single day, knocking on his door. And then he was like, "Fine. If you want to go out on loan, you can. If someone comes in and wants to take you, you can go on loan." And then my agent spoke to Michael Appleton down at Portsmouth, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to bring Wes down to Bournemouth, to Portsmouth. Sorry. You know, can you get in contact with him and say, look, we want to bring him down, and if he wants to come down." And I was like, "Yeah, I want to come down. I want to speak to him," sort of thing. So went down to Portsmouth, spoke to Michael Appleton, and Appleton was just like, "Look, Wes, if you work hard, the fans will love you here. You know, just come in, work hard for me, and you know, I know you can score goals. Like, I've seen you before. I've been watching you. If you just come in and work hard, the rest of it will take care of itself," sort of thing. And I think I played 5 games for him, scored 3 goals. I think we won 4, drew 1. And at the time, Portsmouth were below Bournemouth in the league. But by the end of that period, we was now above them in the league, sort of thing, because they were still struggling within the league. They weren't winning games. And then the manager at the time, he got the sack, and then they brought in Eddie Howe. And Eddie Howe was like, "I want Wesley back. Get Wesley back. I'm going to recall him," sort of thing. And I still had a few games. I think I still had 1 or 2 games left to play in the loan. And I get a call late at night, and he was like, "Wes, I'm recalling you. You know, I want you to be a part of the team," sort of thing. And I was like, "Yeah, but am I going to play," sort of thing. Like, I don't want to just come back and not play. And he was like, "Wes, if you work hard, you know, you're going to be in and around the team anyway. So, but I want to have you around. I want to have a look at you and see how good you are," sort of thing. But my mindset at that time was, well, no, because if I'm already here and I'm scoring goals, and you're telling me you just want to have a look at me, why would I want to come back to that environment? I'd rather just be somewhere where I'm playing and I'm scoring goals, sort of thing. I don't want to go back to somewhere where you just want to have me as an option. But he was like, "Well, Wes, I'm recalling you anyway, so you have to come back. I want you in tomorrow in training," sort of thing. So that immediately was automatically, we never got off on a good foot, sort of thing. And then I remember after a few days of training, I said to him, "Look, Gaffer, I don't want to be here. You know, I'd rather be somewhere else where I'm playing and I'm scoring goals." And I just remember his whole face just changed. He was like, "Well, if you want someone, if you want to go, you ain't going to no one in our league. So you've got to either go in the league below, or try and get a club in the league above, in the Championship." And I just felt like, what? Like, you're punishing me because I don't want to be just an option to you. Like, if you was to promise me like you was going to play me, then cool. But if you're not going to play me, I'm better off going somewhere else and proving my worth to that other club, sort of thing. But he didn't want to hear none of it. Luckily for me, Michael Appleton got the Blackpool job. And he said, look, spoke to my agent and said, look, if Wes wants to come down to Blackpool and we can do a deal with Bournemouth, then we'll take him on loan, sort of thing. And I was like, yeah, 100% I want to come Blackpool. You know, the opportunity to go and play in the Championship. And so, yeah, that's how that whole move came across, of going to Blackpool.
Yeah, because at Blackpool, you scored quite a few goals. Like, you scored like 3 goals in 9 games. This is like a good return. But you then went on loan to what's called Birmingham. Like,
so what happened was when I went to Blackpool, went into the team, done well, scored a few goals. They wanted to keep me, and they wanted to sign me on a permanent deal. But Bournemouth weren't willing to do any deal. They didn't want to do a deal with Blackpool. They didn't want to sell me, sort of thing. So I've had to go back down to Bournemouth, and I've just gone straight to Eddie Howe. I said, look, I wanna go and play in the Championship. I've proven that I can go and score goals in the Championship. I want to play in the Championship. And he was like, well, you ain't going. Like, you're just not going, sort of thing. And I just remember, I think I went to the chair. I went straight to the chairman. I said, look, I want a deal to be done, sort of thing. Like, can you make a deal happen? And he was like, okay, we'll see what we can do, sort of thing. And then the next day, Eddie Howe's come in. He's pulled me to a side. He's like, don't go to the chairman. You don't go behind my back, and don't go speaking to people behind my back. If I say you're not going nowhere, you're not going anywhere. And I was like, but you're not gonna. I don't want to be here. You're not gonna play me. What's the point of me being around? And he was like, this is my decision. If you don't like it, then that's on you. But this is what's happening. You're not going anywhere. Weirdly enough, at the end, I think at the end of the transfer window, we the clubs brought in Brett Pittman. So the clubs brought in another striker, Brett Pittman, signed him. And I was thinking, I'm even further down this pecking, like, what's going on? And then I get a call late at night saying, look, Birmingham want to take you. Lee Clark, he likes you. He's seen you play. He likes you as a player. You know, are you willing to go down? Are you willing to go down to Birmingham? So I was like, yeah, get it done. You know, for me, I think that was the first time I thought, yeah, this is a proper club now. Like, this is a big club. Get me down to Birmingham. And I just remember going there, seeing the stadium, going to the training ground. It was like, this is where I want to be. Like, this is what I've worked hard for. Like, to, you know, in the game, this is what I want to be at. And even like with the players that were there, you know, some of the players I've seen play in the Premier League, sort of thing. You know, you just now you're getting changed right next to them. So, yeah, I think when I went to Birmingham, that was when I felt, yeah, I'm at a team where, you know, can do things.
And what's it called? You obviously signed permanently for Birmingham because you've done well for them.
Well, I initially signed on loan to the end of the season. And it wasn't until not next season, but the following season, I went back there and signed permanently on a 2-year deal.
Yeah, so what's it called? Like, when you signed for Birmingham, played quite a lot of games for them. That was in the Championship, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, players are there, next level. How did you find your experiences with, like, obviously, like, competing at that level? Do you know what I mean? It's like there's certain people that can compete at that level for until a certain time. How do you think you coped?
Um, I think, I think under Lee Clark, I've done okay. I don't think I've done amazingly, but I think I've done all right underneath him. I think when Gary Rowett took over, I struggled. He preferred Lee Clark preferred two up top. When Gary Rowett took over, he wanted only the one up top. So that meant either me, Clayton Donaldson, Zigic, or Lee Novak can only play. So it's four strikers fighting for one spot. So he, obviously he favoured Clayton Donaldson, and Clayton Donaldson done really well underneath him, scoring a lot of goals. So it was difficult to try and get into the team. And when I did get opportunities, I wasn't playing as a striker. He'll play me out wide, or he'll play me as a number 10. And that was the first time I've ever played as a number 10 sort of thing. So I found it really difficult playing underneath him, and I just didn't really see eye to eye with him after that as well.
Yeah, because you had a couple of loan spells with Swindon and Oxford, which you scored goals again.
Yeah,
you love scoring goals on loan.
that was just my thing, though. I used to go into games and just think, it doesn't matter how you play. If you're on that score sheet as a striker, people are going to take notice. People, most people are not going to watch the game. So what they're going to see is at the end of the game, what's the score, who scored. And I just felt, right, if I can do that, if I can make sure I'm scoring goals, people are always going to be interested in a striker who scores goals. So that was just my thing. How can I score goals? And I didn't care whether it come off my eye, hit me in my face, or if it was a worldie. As long as I'm scoring goals, it didn't matter to me. And yeah, I think I scored a couple goals at Swindon, but I got injured. I actually went to Bradford. I went to Bradford, and the football there was. I don't know. Have you ever? I don't think have you played under Phil Parkinson?
No.
Oh,
I played against them though with that.
If you think John Steele's bad, he's just as bad as John Steele. His footballs. It's just put it in the channel and strikers chase it in the channel, set it back, and it gets whipped in the box. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm sprinting, if I'm playing up top and I'm chasing balls in the channel and I set it back and it goes in the box, I can't get in the box by the time I set it back. So all I'm doing is chasing balls in channels. I can't score goals in that type of way. And I tried to have this conversation with him. He just did not want to hear it at all. And we ended up falling out. He ended up, saying to me, look, you don't need to come back in anymore. So near the end of my loan spell, I wasn't even going back to Bradford. But yeah, I just didn't. I enjoyed playing at the stadium, but I just didn't play. I did not enjoy working underneath him. His football was prehistoric, to say the least. So, but after that, I was out of contract at Birmingham, and then I went to Oxford United again with Michael Appleton.
Yeah, because you played a lot of games underneath Michael Appleton. And,
yeah, I think Michael Appleton, understood me as a character, as a player, and he didn't try to change me and turn me into something that I wasn't. He allowed me to be me, who I was on the pitch, and I think that just worked, sort of thing. In my spell at Oxford, when I was with him though, I ruptured my Achilles, and for the majority of the season, I was out with that ruptured Achilles. But working under Appleton, he didn't try to change me or turn me into something that I wasn't. He just knew who I was and just tried to give me that opportunity to show who I was. So, I enjoyed working underneath him.
Yeah, because at the back end of your career, you've had like good spells with Greenspan, Notts County.
Yeah.
How was?
I don't know about good spells, but
Well, you played a lot of games in between them. You
well,
played a lot of games.
yeah. So okay. So in my second season at Oxford, I was, come back from the ruptured Achilles. Michael Appleton's left, and Pep Clotet. You know that Pep Clotet? He was at Leeds. He was at Birmingham as well. Anyways, he takes over, and I thought, okay, well, new manager. It's an opportunity. I've not been playing, so it's an opportunity for me to show a new manager what I can really do. Played in the games in pre-season, scoring. I think I scored the most goals in pre-season at the time. But then I'm hearing calls from my agent saying, Rotherham want to take you. And I remember saying to my agent, yeah, but how are they going to take me if I'm already signed and contracted to Oxford? And he said to me, Oxford are willing to let you go. And I was thinking, what? Why would Oxford want to let me go? I've started the season well. I was scoring goals in pre-season. Why are they looking to let me go? And he was like, don't know, but Rotherham want to take you. Would you be willing to go? And I was like, no. I'm going to prove my worth here. I know I can score goals in this team. I've done it in pre-season. I started well in the beginning of the season. I'll score goals here. And I think I scored in the first few games. I think I had about 3 in my first 5. And then I remember going and playing against Blackpool away. And we must have been 3-0 down after about 30 minutes, right? And the ball goes out and the board goes up. And you just see your number go up. And I was thinking, what? That's never happened to me in my whole career. And I'm thinking, out of all the players, you're taking me off. We're 3-0 down after 30 minutes. Goalkeepers letting 3 goals. The defence are clearly not doing their job, and you want to take off the striker. So I come off. I'm fuming at this moment in time. I'm thinking, he better not say nothing to me at half-time because I'm just going to go at him. He comes in and he's giving his team talk and he doesn't say a word to me, which made me even angrier because I wanted to have a go at him at half-time, but he didn't say nothing, so that made me even angrier. And even at full-time, didn't say nothing, and he left it for about 2 weeks. So he dropped me from the team, and he left it for about 2 weeks. He didn't say nothing to me at all. And then 2 weeks later, he pulls me into his office and he says, right, here's the stats from that game. Your stats were down. Your ball retention was down. Your passing was down. I was like, you're just looking for an excuse now, because you could have come to me straight away and said, look, I didn't think you was doing anything. I thought you were poor in that game. Didn't think you was doing enough. And if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Fine. But you've left it 2 weeks and you've now come to me and you've put a piece of paper, which really and truly, it could be, I don't know if the stats were real. But even if my stats were down, they're working on averages, right? So say on average, I made 7 successful passes in a game. Yeah. And when he took me off, I only had two successful passes in my first 5 passes that I made. What's to say that in my next 5 passes, I wouldn't have got every single one as a successful pass to make up my average back to 7 again? And that's what I said to him. And he was like, yeah, but I just wanted to I had to make a decision. So the team wasn't doing well, so I decided to take you off. I just felt like I knew that there was something where I knew the club wanted to get rid of me, and the minute that they could make any excuse, they made that excuse to to not play me and to sort of try and warrant why I'm not in the team, sort of thing. So I just accepted it. I thought, right, I'm going to show you that you're missing out on something. And I think the team lost a few games, and he put me back in the team, and I ended up scoring a few goals, and then doing really well underneath that period. I think I had, by the end of, from when he got sacked, I had 10 goals by January. I think I had about 9-10 goals by January, and then I was getting offers from different clubs as well. And it was weird because at that period now, Oxford didn't want to sell me. So they were like, no, he's not going anywhere. They weren't offering me a new contract because I was out of contract this season, but they were saying, no, he isn't, we're not letting him go. So I was thinking, okay, well, they're going to have to offer me a new deal then. And we just got to the end of the season. He got sacked in January. Derek Pazakili took over for a period, and I just didn't get on with him at all. And then at the end of the contract, they just let me go, and I was quite shocked by that, to be honest, because I finished the season top goal scorer for the team, and me personally, I just think they wanted me off the wage bill. They're probably looking at he's one of the highest earners in the team, and we want to go down this more youthful way. So let's get rid of him and bring in probably a younger boy who can play up top, which is fair enough. But it would have been nice if it would have just been upfront and honest. But I didn't think they were.
Wes, to finish off, I just want to ask you a question. I just want to ask you, what would your advice be to sort of like these 16 to 24-year-olds who are still trying to make it at the top level, by your experience?
Well, one, if you're trying to get to the top level, you got to work hard. Football is a competitive business, as in a competitive sport as well. So if you're gonna try and get to the top, you need to work hard, and you need to have that self-belief that no matter what happens, you believe that you can still get there. You're going to have your challenges, you're going to have whatever, but if you work hard and you believe in yourself, anything's possible. And I honestly believe that. I think if you really believe in who you are as a player, and you believe that you have the ability to play at the top, you can.
On that note, Wes, it was nice speaking to you. I was like, because obviously I've met you throughout our journey, but obviously I didn't know actually what happened to you. It's like 1 minute I saw you here, next minute I'm seeing you in the championship. It's just a bit mental. But now I've got an insight of your sort of journey, and for me, it's very inspirational for me as well, Wes. For that, I say thank you.
Cheers.
And hope to see you soon. Yeah.
Cheers, bro.
See you, mate.
See you.
Pistol like buzz, issue with trust. Won't let no one get a piece of your love. Yeah, base it on loyalty, base it on us. I ain't